and welcome to my channel. It's Sonia Verardo here from trenchcollection.com fashion and beauty blog. I'm really sorry that you had to wait so long for this video. I promised this video to you a couple of months ago because I told you to ask me some questions about my labor and delivery and motherhood, and you guys were so nice to ask me lots of different questions, and I was very eager to answer those to you. But then I filmed my labor and delivery, which was quite a long story, and then I filmed some other videos, vlogs, and then I ran out of time, and then I took a little bit of a gap between filming. But now I'm back, and here I have in this cute notebook all your answers, because I wrote them down as soon as you guys asked me. So let me start straight away. Alexia NP asked me a question: will you go through this again, maybe for a second child? I would love to go through this again for a second child, also because my labor and delivery was quite easy. And also my pregnancy was lovely. I only had these horrible fears of pain and you know, anxiety that kind of ruined it for me. But other than that, health-wise and everything, I was so blessed and just very lucky, because during my pregnancy I barely even felt pregnant, you know. And then I had this really quick labor and delivery, so you know, what else can you wish for? And both me and my baby, we were absolutely fine. And yeah, so I would go through this again if it was like the first one, but you never know, obviously. But there is also one thing though, that I am now going to be 36 years old in June, coming soon. My birthday is in a week. And when you're heading towards your 40s, you know, it's always more risky for a pregnancy. I just feel very blessed with one child. I'm super happy, thrilled. I couldn't wish for more because I'm so blessed. I sometimes feel that I like caught the last train to motherhood, because we don't really have like help from our parents, so I'm in this on my own. My hubby obviously helps, but he has to work as well, and taking care of a very young kid like under 2 and having another child like newborn, I think that would be very hard and very stressful, and I couldn't really enjoy or dedicate myself fully to neither of them. And realistically speaking, it's not that I can say, oh, let's have another 5 or 6 years and then I can start thinking about it. No, I would have to go through this like immediately, I don't know, in a year, I guess. And I think that's very early for me to think of another pregnancy. So it kind of blows my mind to think that I'm already like too old to wait another 5-6 years, because I think like 5-6 years of difference would be ideal. In my labor and delivery video I also mentioned a little bit about my postpartum and about hemorrhoids being the worst thing, like the worst part of it. And it's not like a minor thing, it's really a big thing, you know. You can risk having a surgery if they don't go back in their previous shape. So I still do have some problems with that occasionally. I have to be very careful about what I'm eating, about my diet and all. And going through like natural labor, I would really risk having big issues with hemorrhoids. And otherwise there is option of cesarean, which I'm just not, you know, willing to take, because I am very scared of having to undergo such surgery. So I guess that answers your question. I mean, in life, never say never, but this is just the way I think right now. Next question, Yelena MV, she basically asked me 2 questions. First is, do you still feel afraid of hospitals and needles? Um, yes, I do. Like my main goal was to go out of the hospital, and I was just counting the minutes while I was there. I have to say that staying in Italian hospital, it was very different experience. I mean, it was, if I can say, nice even, because like food was great, and they would have all these menus as if I was in a hotel. They came in my room and they list the menu for tomorrow, like they listed 5 or 6 different dishes that I could choose from, and then they would write down what should they bring me tomorrow. Not only me, I mean for every patient that was there, they had such treatment. So it was quite nice, and the rooms were quite small, so we were only 2 in a room, with a private bathroom for us, so I couldn't complain really. Nothing was like paid extra, it was all on my social insurance, like regular social insurance. So that's one thing. And also I realized that I was there because I was delivering my baby, so for a magical, beautiful purpose, not because I was ill. But I don't think I've told you, basically the second day that you're in a hospital, before they release you the third day, they run blood analysis just to check your iron levels, and I did not know that, and the nurse came that morning and she said, I have to take your blood. And seriously, I was freaking out. I was freaking out so badly that she was very surprised, and she looked at me and, are you for real? You just gave birth. Are you going to do this seriously? And you just gave birth? She just couldn't believe to her eyes. And so guys, I still have this phobia of needles, and I was there basically alone, obviously with my boy, but my hubby wasn't there because it was early in the morning and he couldn't be there overnight. So it was just a tremendous, horrible thing. When I think of a nurse's reaction and her words, are you seriously going to do this? I mean, you just gave birth. How is it possible that you react this way? But I was so lucky that I gave birth without any needles in my veins, you know. They didn't give me any oxytocin or any epidural or any sort of drugs that go IV. After the birth, they just gave me an injection, and obviously they stitched me up, but it's different things. So yeah, I'm still afraid of hospitals and needles. Second question that Jelena asked me is, how do you arrange your time? How do you find time for yourself, for fashion, shopping, fitness, etc.? Well, 2 months ago I would reply to you that I don't have any time for myself at all, other than for my baby. But now, since he was 3 months old, things started to be way easier. Now he's 4 months old, and it's very easy right now because he smiles most of the time. He cries only when he's like stressed out, when he's very tired and he for some reason can't fall asleep, or when he's hungry. But I try not to arrive at that stage that he's hungry. I try to offer him to drink, you know, before he gets to being very hungry. So we interact and we have our fun time together. It's really lovely. And basically he even plays more on his own, so I can do more things. I still cannot do as much, obviously, as much as I did before, but I do have some time for myself, for my blog, for even, you know, cleaning. I was able to clean the house after 3 months, you know. So yeah, I know it's horrible, but I couldn't do anything for 3 months, and then after 3 months I was able to clean the entire house, and I was like, wow, this is a miracle. So now I do have more time even to wash dishes in the morning and to clean the house. And you know, there are days when I can't do everything that I put on my list, but you know, that's fine. Regarding shopping, I don't really go shopping anymore, basically, but that's fine. Even when I wasn't pregnant, I always thought if I had kid one day, I would not let him go to shopping center with me when he's too young, because I don't think that's healthy environment for the kids. And this is the rule that I stick to. So I don't really miss that environment. I work in a shopping center, and I spend all my working hours there, and then for fun I would also go to shopping centers. So that's one thing of my life that I don't really miss right now. Plus I have so many clothes and so many stuff. I just have so many stuff, and it's not that makes me happy, you know. So I don't really go shopping anymore. Just like Saturdays I go on in my local drugstore and I pick products that I need, and that's basically all. Fitness, no fitness for me yet. I don't have time to do that, and yeah, I really have like serious backache, and I'm just trying to gain better posture, and when I can I will do some like light back exercises and that, but you know, not really fitness, maybe in the future. Now I have next question coming from Alexandra. She asked me, how much have your emotions changed now? Well, my emotions have changed, like they flipped completely. I mean, I never ever could imagine this amount of love and this type of love, you know, that you feel for your child. I feel like a completely different person now. If I remember all the things that I was thinking before, you know, about having kids, I just feel very foolish and very stupid and even ashamed. But I'm not going to take my vlogs down just because it was who I was, you know. It was just a part of growing and just you know, part of who I am and who I became now. So it's only fair to keep them, but I feel ashamed of even questioning and doubting this decision, you know, because it's like the best feeling ever. So I do feel my emotions have changed, and I'm way more emotional. I cried a lot after giving birth. Oh, of course it's hormones as well. But I cried because of joy and happiness, and I was pouring tears down my face, and those were tears of joy and happiness. Like it's something that you cannot describe, you know. I was overwhelmed with these emotions. Next question is, tell us some more details about your delivery. Well, I did the whole video on that subject, so I think I explained pretty well everything. I had this really natural and rather quick, you know, childbirth and delivery. I was very blessed. I feel very blessed, and seriously I can say that you know, the level of my contractions, the pain level, it wasn't so painful. I mean, it was painful, but I imagined this pain to be way worse. The other day when I was having like serious backache and my shoulders and my head, everything hurt so bad, I said, you know, labor pains, contractions pains are nothing comparing to this pain, you know. So go figure, you know. I mean, it was hard. I'm not saying that it wasn't, but I think, you know, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Next questions coming from Alexandra again is, from this point right now, do you think that your fears were a bit irrational? Irrational. I always knew that, you know, my phobia of needle was irrational, but it's still, you know, real fear. But it's irrational. I knew even before that it's irrational, just I didn't really know how to deal with this fear, rather than vlogging and boring you guys about it. And that really helped, you know. Every time that I grabbed camera and vlogged, it seemed to me that I'm not alone in this, that I'm sharing it, and that you guys are there for me, and I don't know. But yeah, irrational definitely. Fear of childbirth and hospitals, well, that's not entirely irrational, because you know, things can go wrong, but maybe I made a mistake to think about it so much, you know. I worried so much about what can go wrong, all the possible things and scenarios in my head. So I think that was wrong, the wrong thing to do, definitely. Fourth question from Alexandra: is this the most beautiful period of your life? Yes, Alexandra, this is the most beautiful period of my life. Even though it was very hard to be exhausted and very tired, because at the beginning obviously your newborn sleeps not that great. I mean, he needs to eat a lot, so he wakes up every 2.5 hours, 3 hours, so you wake up like 3 or even 4 times at night. And after 5:30 we were like awake, so it was difficult because I never got a chance to sleep more than 3 hours, not even 5 hours straight, so that was very, very exhausting, especially for me, because I am very used on sleeping like even 10-12 hours straight, and just all my emotional worries or all my physical problems, I always like renew myself when I'm sleeping. Everything can go wrong, but if I can sleep, if I can rest, that will give me my energy for going on. So there was a point when I was so tired, and then my baby was crying a lot because he just needed to get acquainted with the world, you know, and just figure out what happened and where is he now and who are we, all his parents around him, and just it was only natural. So he would cry even when he was fed and had his diaper changed. So I used to dance with him a lot, and that would calm him, and then he would fall asleep, or he would just, you know, be on my shoulder, very quiet. So I was basically dancing from early morning to to night time, and I was just tired. But now things are way easier because he's 4 months old, and it's just way easier, way different, and we interact, and he already understands me, and yeah, it's just amazing. I love it. I love spending time with him. So sometimes I say to you guys, I don't have time to film, I don't have time to vlog. Well, I could, you know, if I let him play on his own a little bit more, but you know, I really want to enjoy these moments. I want to make the most out of these moments, so I don't want to miss on anything. It's such a precious time, like you said, the most beautiful time of my life, and that's why sometimes I do neglect, you know, my blog and YouTube, but I'm happy, I'm truly happy. Okay, I think those were questions that Alexandra asked, and now I have some questions from Lilac Star. So do you plan to bring your baby up in Italy, or would you go back to Croatia or London maybe in the future? Well, go back to London, certainly not, because that was only 1 year experience in 2004-2005, and we don't really have like a possibility to go to London right now. If we had work there that awaits us and just you know, sorted out living situation in London, then we would go there if we had some sort of opportunity, you know. But right now we are a family, we have a little child, and we don't have any prospect of you know, working in London, and we are flat owners here, and we have a house in Croatia. So you know, our roots are here, and like realistically our possibilities for the future are either here in Italy or in Croatia. A little bit more likely in Italy, but you never know, because in Croatia, as I've said, I have a bigger house that I inherited from my father, and here we have like smaller apartment with only 1 room. So when my baby is a little bit older, I don't know how this is going to work. Will he be in the room with his parents until he is 20? I'm not sure, but we will see, you know, it all depends, because again, here we have work, in Croatia we don't have work, so we will see what the future holds for us. But obviously Croatia isn't that far away, it's only 2 hours from here, so we will see. Next question is, how long are you planning to breastfeed? Some people do it until the child is 2-3 years, so just wondering, what do you think? Before I even became a mom, I thought that breastfeeding your child until he's 2 or 3 years old is just like crazy, you know. Don't judge me. I never spoke out loud this thought of mine, but I thought like that's weird. But I do have a friend that is still breastfeeding, and her daughter is older than 2 years, like 2 years and a couple of months. And now that I started breastfeeding, I really like it. I mean, at the beginning it was very challenging, and I have to tell this story in a separate video because I had introverted nipples, so it was very hard for my baby boy to latch on. I had to use breast shields because of that reason, and I did not have enough milk production because of using breast shields, but nipple shields. But he couldn't drink otherwise, so it was the only way. So we had to give him formula and breastfeed him, but I really insisted. Like literally there were days whenever he wanted, there were days when I spent like whole day breastfeeding him, and one day he just latched on, and it became easier and easier. So now I don't need to use nipple shields anymore. And from feeding him mostly formula, I passed on exclusively feeding him my own milk, and it's going so well, you know. It's going so well, and we both enjoy it. I think I would like to breastfeed until he's 1 year old, and then like gradually and then just gradually stop breastfeeding, because I don't want to breastfeed him until he's 3 and then just stop breastfeeding him overnight, because that would be like a huge trauma and shock to him as well. So I think I would like to do this very, very gradually, and we will see. And the last question is, how did you manage to stay so slim throughout your pregnancy? This is also a question that requires a longer answer, and I could do a separate video. Basically, I never gained a lot of weight in pregnancy. I just gained, you know, weight in my belly. So it was my baby and placenta and all the liquids and all. And that's basically it. Once I gave birth, it all went away, and then just my belly still needed to go back in shape, because obviously after you give birth, you know, it's like a balloon that's been inflated. I was very, very careful about my diet, about what I'm eating. I did not have any fast food, junk food, any like sugary things. I was very, very, very careful, like super careful, also because I was afraid of having to do glucose test. So I never did glucose test. I just kept my glucose level through like regular blood check, and I kept it in normal levels, so they never had to have me take glucose test. So I was just very, very disciplined in my head. If you're pregnant, you don't need to eat for 2. That's definitely not the case. So I just ate whenever I felt hungry. I always try to eat very healthy food, but you know, never for 2. I never like doubled the portions. I just couldn't even. I just try to eat very healthy. And then with breastfeeding as well, everything goes back into place with breastfeeding. I did not even exercise a bit, and I think I'm in great shape as I was before. You know, maybe I could do a little bit of exercising to make firmer muscles, but I did not have firm muscles before either, so you know. Okay guys, those were your questions, these were my answers. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. It was long overdue, I apologize again. In my next videos, when I can, I will speak about my breastfeeding story, and also about this whole pregnancy weight gain thing, and how I returned back into shape. And if you have any other questions, you know, I would also like to tell you a little bit more about postpartum period, because I find not a lot of people talk about this part, and I think it's also very important to mention. I'm sending you all a huge kiss from Italy. Thank you so much for sticking with me, for sending me your lovely comments and questions. I really